So by the title of this video, you can probably tell what I want to talk about. And I guess I was watching a video from Motorcycle News with Michael Neves, and he was doing a review on the super naked category, and obviously the Street Fighter from Ducati is the new kid on the block, the V4 with the Panigale engine in. And I was like, the first question I asked is, where is BMW's S1000R, the single R? Like, how can you make a super naked shootout and not include that bike? Like, it's like, I don't get it. Firstly, one of two things. Firstly, that bike, it's got a quick shifter, blipper, it's got heated grips, it's got cruise control, it's got 165 brake course, it's got leaning angle, ABS, it's got everything on it. It's got absolutely everything on it. And one of the most attractive things with that bike as well is the price. And love it or hate it, like, it is an absolute weapon. That single R, that 1000R, like, you just can't ignore that bike. Like, and if you're a motorcycle journalist worth your salt and you're doing a shootout on hyper nakeds today, you still have to include that bike. So to add on top of that as well, it's actually got the S1000R engine in it as well. It's just tuned differently. Like, I just don't get it. And even if you don't actually like the single R for whatever reason, like, you think it's soulless, or you, whatever your like mentality is with it, I don't know why there's so much hate on that bike. But like, you have to include it if you're doing a shootout, because it's just that good. Like, and even arguably the new Speed Triple, like, why are they not including that bike in it? Is it because it takes too long to review? I mean, you kind of have to ask yourself the question, like, what is the motive of these photojournalists? Like, you know, sort of, it's not just MCM, 44 teeth as well, you know. And my theory is it's to do with money. It's to do with money. You know, these photojournalists, I can't speak today. These motorcycle journalists are obviously getting paid some sort of kickback or payment for reviewing the bike and using it and spending their time, I'm sure, because that is the only explanation for why they probably wouldn't include a motorcycle in a shootout. It makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. And that's why I think there's room for people like you and me sort of doing motorcycle reviews, because we're not getting paid bucks from, you know, manufacturers of motorcycle companies, and I have absolutely no interest to, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't, that just give their honest review. And look, there are some small things you can get from reviews on YouTube and watching videos like this about any sort of motorcycle. Example, the Aprilia Tuono, it doesn't have a fuel gauge, and I found it out by watching reviews, and the fact that the fuel consumption is really shitty. Like, for me, those two things, like, I'm not interested in the Aprilia Tuono. I don't care how exotic and amazing it is and how it makes you ejaculate in your pants from the noise. It's just not for me. I'm sorry. If you can't put like a fuel gauge on your motorcycle, like, well done Aprilia for that one. Good job. So my honest opinion, I think, when it comes to reviewing a bike, is go out and ride one for yourself. Go out and ride one, because these videos on YouTube, like, you can only get so much from them, particularly when people are talking about reviews from bikes. And look, I do get it, there are some people that are not in a position to test ride a motorcycle because the manufacturer won't let them ride the bike. Like, I had it when I first bought my sports bike, my Super Sport, my GSXR 600, when I was 22, 23. I mean, I bought that, I didn't even have a full bike license the time I bought that from a dealer, and they obviously weren't going to let me test ride it. And even today I know that that's the same situation. So you can get a certain amount of information from watching reviews and MCM and 44 Teeth or motorcycle.com, whatever it is. But the truth of the matter is, until you get on a bike and test ride it yourself and see what you think, dependent on your weight, your body size, your ability as a motorcycle rider, you know what, the truth is these motorcycle reviews are actually probably just a waste of time. And while I'm on the subject of the S1000R, like, I've obviously just recently changed from that over to the R, and the R is such an incredible bike. It is such an incredible bike, and while I'm very pleased with my decision, the R is a much, well, yeah, it is just, it's a better motorcycle all round, in my opinion. It's slightly more uncomfortable compared to the R, being the R. The R is slightly, a little less comfortable, because obviously it's got clip-ons instead of handlebars and all that sort of stuff, but it's quite minuscule, to be honest. The difference is negligible to me, because, you know, I'm just super fit and bloody gorgeous and have a six-pack with huge thighs. I stumbled across, like, obviously the video, which I'll put in the link below, of MCM doing the review on the Hyper Nakeds for 2020, and yeah, one, obviously, as I said a moment ago, they didn't obviously include the S1000R, even though it's 165 brake with, I don't know, but my point being is that when I was reading through the comments section on that video, there's so many haters on, like, the S1000R. There's so many haters on it. It's like, seriously, like, you're slating that bike and all the electronics and the power that it's got, and it handles absolutely brilliantly as well. It handles superbly, and you're slating the bike. Probably half of them haven't even ridden it, and it's amazing. Like, you know, a company like MCN, you can say that they're in a position of authority because they've got such a large following, and they're kind of considered the king of motorcycle reviews in the sense of how long they've been around. They've been around for a very, very long time. And if you don't have a brain of your own, and you're easily led, and you're just going off what, like, Michael Neve says or MCN, you're going to think that the BMW S1000R is like a complete waste of time. You're not even going to flick your leg over it, and that is not the case. But again, one of the comparisons, when I was buying the 1000R, I was obviously looking at the Aprilia Tuono, and I didn't actually ride that bike because it didn't have a fuel gauge, which isn't any good for me, because I want to tour on the bike. I want to go touring on that motorcycle, and like you can with the BMW S1000R, you can actually sort of go touring on that motorcycle. And for me, that just wrote the Aprilia Tuono out. It was like, it was just a toy for the weekend to sort of, you know, burst out and do like 100 miles or whatever. And it completely just ruled it out for me. It was like, okay, well, I can't really tour on it, even though there are people that are touring on the Aprilia Tuono. But the truth is, that bike just absolutely chews through fuel like no one's business. And yeah, I mean, I'll put a clip on the screen now of like a motorcycle journalist who run out of fuel on the test ride. Like, that's how useful a fuel gauge is, Aprilia. So if you're listening, put a fuel gauge on your bikes. It's like, it's seriously, like, I don't even get it. I don't get it at all. But so that's the reason when I was looking at the Aprilia, like, it's just not practical enough for me. It's just not practical, and for probably so many people, I'd imagine that's the kind of bike, the Aprilia, that you'll buy and have it for sort of 6 months, maybe a year, just to say you've had one and you've experienced it. But in the long term, yeah, they're probably not that good. And again, that's why I decided to sort of go with the BMW S1000R. Is how practical it is, the practicality of that bike. You know, it get the best part of 150 miles out of a full tank while having heated grips and cruise control, and you know, when you want to keep up with your sports buddies on the bikes at the weekend, that bike is more than capable of doing that. And again, rider dependent, and that's kind of one of the most important things that's left out of the equation of all of this, is like, how good are you as a rider when riding a motorcycle? You know, do you have sort of the authority in the position to say whether a bike is shit or not, or it handles well, or the chassis is not very good, etc. Like, you know, that's another point. But I'm interested to hear what you think. You know, do you think that the you know, motorcycle journalists just speak doggy doo-doo? You know, do you think that they're so useful that they have a place doing what they're doing and being biased? I mean, I don't know. This is all complete theory in the sense of yeah, how I think that they manipulate the industry, and you know, they've got to keep the lights on at the end of the day. They've got to make money somehow, and I totally get that. But you know, what do you think? I'm interested to hear from you, and thank you for watching these videos as always, and the support. If you've liked this video, please just consider to give it a little thumbs up. Really means a lot to help me to continue making these videos. But apart from that, I will see you in the next one. Hasta luego.